So for this session, I thought we could follow the same pattern and see what happens. So I've been using a tool called Lean Coffee Table to actually run it. And I set up multiple different rooms so we can run kind of a distributed lean coffee of lean coffees, where I can break you into groups. You guys can each have your own lean coffee board. Within your small groups, find the number one thing, challenge, problem, thing that you can help with. And then I'll bring everybody back to the main room and we'll take the number one thing from each subgroup. So this is just an idea for anybody who's in a situation where they need to run like a big virtual conference or open space or a big meeting in your companies now that you're working from home. Logistically, it's a bit of a pain, but it's something that could help with, this type of situation. So the way it works for passing yourselves around the room, somebody volunteer, just say who you are, where you're from, and what your hopes are for today, and then you can pass it to somebody else. I will say that I will just put a time box on this to 10:30. So if you want to pass the baton and not say it, if someone passes it to you, you can pass it on, and then at 10:30 we'll start the breakout lean coffees. So who would like to go first? Oh, sorry, I broke my own rule. I have to pass the baton first. So I'll pass it to Colleen McDonald, because you're right in the middle of the screen for me.
Okay. Good morning. I'm Colleen. So I'm a process improvement specialist, and I don't necessarily have a challenge from home because I work remotely 3 days a week, but it's just getting things coordinated properly with my team that we normally meet in the office and meet milestones, and currently we're not being able to do that. And I just don't think there's a disconnection between everyone learning to work at home and being able to execute. That's what I'm experiencing right now. And I'll pass it on to Alex.
Hi, I'm Jean-Luc Maz. I'm from France, in south of Paris, and I just begin to speak about lean change for some weeks, and I don't speak very well English. Sorry for my terrific accent and vocabulary.
All right, I'll just jump in. Good morning, everyone. I'm Leonard, calling from Houston. And the challenge that we're having, or that I'm looking to solve for, is creative ways to facilitate large teams via virtual. I'm in the process of planning a workshop now. And with everything that's going on now, those 90-minute sessions, 2 90-minute sessions now are going to be virtual, and looking for tips to solve problems and get the team engaged via Zoom.
Oh, you can hear me? I have no idea. I couldn't get it working on my laptop, so I'm on my phone now, and I kind of don't know what I'm doing. And I guess that's what I'm here to learn, is how to use these collaborative tools more effectively in what feels kind of like a safe environment, because I'm not showing myself up in front of my colleagues. But that includes facilitating workshops. And sorry, I didn't introduce myself. I'm Liz Keneally. You can probably tell I'm from London, and I work for PRS Music, a performing rights organisation, who are obviously doing everything they can at the moment to make sure that the musicians impacted by this current initiative, this current situation, are remain getting some sort of revenue in. And I'd love to know how you tell who's on the call. If anybody could give me that guidance in the meantime.
There's a gallery view button in the top right of the Zoom window. So you can switch between speaker view and gallery view. So gallery will show you like the Brady Bunch on steroids with everybody in panels. And then bottom, there's a participant list where you'll be able to see everybody's names.
Okay. Thank you.
Jason, can I go? I'm Patrick. I'm based in Madrid, Spain. Since a few years, busy with team change management, but as well with Work Together Anywhere from Lisette. I'm used to work from home. I give virtual training in working from home, though I see there's a clear difference in a choice between working from home and people being forced to work from home. I'm here just because Jason, I'm a big fan of Jason, and I like to offer my help to anybody that has questions. If I can, I'll lend a hand.
Hi,
Pass
everyone.
on to Kara.
Hello. Hi, guys. I'm Cara, all the way from South Africa, Johannesburg. We have just also gone through a lockdown, which is quite interesting, hence why I'm on the call to try and find ways of helping everyone collaborate virtually and also online retrospectives and things like that. I've been in change management for about 2 or 3 years now. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing everybody's suggestions. And I'll pass the baton on to, who's on my screen here? Danny Terran.
Hello, this is Danny. I'm joining from Spain, Barcelona. And pretty much my intention of participating on this lean change or virtual lean change, lean coffee, it was to have the experience and to learn from experiencing it. That's me pretty much. So I'll pass it on Ramon Castro.
Hello, I'm Ramon from Lima, Peru. We have a big challenge in our country because we are not prepared to remote working. Many companies are stopped because they don't have the tools for remote working. Then we have a big problem here.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, this is Marion from Vienna. I used to work with Jason for a year now in our change management projects. And so we are all on remote work as well at home, as we are all office workers. Nonetheless, we are used to work at home if we want, but like the gentleman from Barcelona, from Madrid tells us, it's a difference if you have to. And I think the most important thing is to give yourself a structure in the day. It's not the technical equipment which is difficult for me, and it's more the structure and the fixed times for working and breaks.
I can take the microphone. This is Jody from Portland, Oregon. It's early here. The challenge I'm facing is I'm worried about the morale of the teams, especially since we're facing some technical challenges at the moment, trying to, with the load on the system, given the changes that are happening. So we're pretty good at audio bridges and using audio conference calls. We're not very good at video. And I will pass it on to, looks like Dave.
It's Dave here from Dublin. I'm a trainer and facilitator, mostly in person. So my business has now changed completely. So I'm just trying to pick up some ideas on how we facilitate groups and do some facilitation and training online.
Hello, this is Miguel Garcia from Mexico. I am a PMI discipline agilist, but living in Latin America is a big challenge for me and for all the agilists because Latin America is not prepared yet to the work from home. So we have a big challenge here in Latin America. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, all of you guys.
I'll go. It's Jen Sutherland. I'm currently in Montague near Cape Town in South Africa. Hi, Cara. I'm also a facilitator. Hi. And I'm I think I've been spending this whole week on Zoom calls and conferences, just trying to figure out what's out there and how can I rethink how I do things. Certainly there's existing customers who we need to convince that it's okay to do it like this, but then how do you go about getting new customers? And I think on the upside, it kind of opens the scope for where customers can be. They don't necessarily need to be in South Africa. And equally, co-facilitators and facilitators can be anywhere in the world. So I can rope somebody in to help me from somewhere else around the world. So there's definitely upside. So I'm here learning. Shall I pass it to Glenn? I'm hoping I've been paying enough attention.
Sure. My name is Glenn Marshall. I'm an Agile coach in Toronto. I've just started a new engagement with a client in China, and they were locked down when I started, and now we're locked down. The thing that I'm wondering about, the group can help me with, is around connection. Things are progressing, but they're awfully slow, and it feels like a lot of the team members are just giving lip service to what we're trying to do, which is remotely introduce Agile. So I'm wondering about ways to get people more engaged emotionally. Passing the baton to who we not heard from. Kim Bryant.
Hey guys, this will be quick. I'm an independent contractor based in Washington, D.C., and we have people making emergency repairs on our home right now. So I'm going to be on mute for most of the time and lurking.
Hey everyone, Peter Lapiani here. I am in Toronto, like Glenn. That's in Canada, for those of you who may not be aware. I am part of a change initiative, leading a change initiative right now, and what's interesting is that it's kind of stalling, so it's taking a bunch of steps backwards. So I'm kind of curious as to how the rest of you guys are kind of coping in change, because it strikes me that the organization, at least that I'm in, is deprioritizing change and in a very crisis situation, falling back on old habits.
Hi, I'm Lily. I'm following with Peter. I'm also from Canada. I'm actually in Montreal. So I think I'm an Agile coach, facilitator for my organization, and this new working environment is new, and now trying to figure out how to facilitate in the remote environment. And I share the same challenges that Peter has expressed with, how do we have people work differently now, and how do we facilitate? How can we still make positive changes in light of the situation?
Hi, this is Karen Travell. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and I focus on LCMA Lean and Agile. One of the things that one of my associates are going to do today is teach us how to use whiteboard, because the facilitation is a challenge. I don't know what whiteboard is, but I'll learn more and share it back. That's all.
Oh, somebody else looks like they're going to speak. I'll just go quickly. My name is Benita Gianne. I'm up in Canada, in Kincardine, actually work in the nuclear power industry in IT. We've just all moved off-site, and it's a challenge because this is not an organization that's used to working remote at all. I currently manage the IT portfolio of planned work. Because of the nature of our work, you can imagine there's been a lot of planning that's diverted people's attentions. A lot of effort going into making sure we've got communications and remote support for everybody who's moving off-site. But one of the things I'll be challenged with is getting the attention back on the planned work, so that we can reprioritize the portfolio in light of the activities that are taking place. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Yvette from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and I'm an implementation specialist, and I also build project management offices, and I'm actually hopping on for the second time. Thank you, Jason, for setting this up. And I just want to hear where everybody is at with some of their challenges. My particular challenge is in not necessarily my team. We all work remote anyway. It's my customers' team. So that's where my challenge is at, in getting some traction on what can we do to help them for whatever they have prioritized in their work life to be able to get them back on the tracks.
I'm Gabby from South Africa. I work at the same company that Cara works at. Hi, Cara. And hi, Jen from Cape Town. And I am currently in the role of a people coach on my clients, which is a bit difficult to do if you don't have any people around to coach. So, and since I'm quite new on that role, I haven't established rapport yet with the people. So starting off on the foot of having to do that virtually is quite a challenge. Yeah.
Hi. Do you listen me? Can you listen me? My name is David. I am Colombian and I live in Chile. I work as an agile coach and facilitator. I don't speak English very well. I really speak very bad English, but I like to try it with topics that interest me. I rely on tools like a translator and a transcription app. This is my first virtual Lean Coffee. I have many challenges, mainly facilitating different types of online sessions. Thank you.
Okay, here I go. My name is Maria. Can you hear me? I live in Santiago in Chile too. I'm Chilean though. I am a facilitator too. I'm a coach, certified by the ICF. So I normally, the work I do is with people in the same room, with many people in the same room. So it's a challenge for me to change that and to feel that the learning experience. So I guess I'm here because I need some tools, and also because I would like to learn from people that do that more often than me. Do you?
I'm gonna take.
Okay.
You hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. Okay. My name is Kermi. I'm living in Peru. I'm from Venezuela. I work in the construction industry, and so the contact with the customer and with the team is very important in this industry. So I'm working at home, and I think the big problem here is that the priority of the person change. The priority right now is the family and not work. And this is a big problem because not everybody get focused to get the work done. Okay, entonces, so we are dealing with this. I just want to learn more tools and more techniques or how to do to this work. I'm going to try to hear from you all your experience and take all the new techniques for me.
All right, we have about 2 minutes left to the time box before we get into Lean Coffee. So who, I'm looking, so Mike, I haven't heard from Mike. Want to go?
Hey, my name is Mike Leber. I'm from Austria, Vienna. I'm a Lean Change facilitator, so that's how I got into this call. Taking my three times a day doses on all these types of meetings. My topic is business agility. We just ran a conference in New York. I just came back from New York recently, so obviously I came in from the storm. I'm not yet sure if I caught something, but I'll see. So I try to keep myself a little bit locked up. We've got a team, spread across multiple companies. It's very interesting. Of course, we need to make sure they have some revenue, but gratefully enough, we're not in a bad condition. So actually, despite all the terrible humane problem here, it's like a huge opportunity to learn. What's all happening. So it's actually like Christmas for coaches, and to learn and see and experience if agility is still a topic. And yeah, I'm here to connect. I'm happy to see many new faces, and yeah, that's my win already. Anybody missing? I didn't tick off anything on my screen.
I think that's
probably was a good idea.
Yeah, I'm just flipping through the pages. Yeah, I think we have heard from everybody. We're hitting the time box anyway, so we can get into the Lean Coffee. So it was interesting to see the patterns. One pattern that seemed to be number one was how to do more remote stuff. So tools, techniques, and tips for doing remote things. A second one was around, people who are working in a change initiative before this happened. The change is kind of stalling off a little bit or slowing down. So like I mentioned in the Monday session, I hit the magic breakout button and it distributed people randomly into breakout rooms. I'm thinking of trying an experiment, which is basically, and this is a tip you guys can do with Zoom. So if you want to run a big open space, you make everybody in the meeting a host, you open the breakout rooms, and then people can jump into whatever room they want. So I was going to suggest I'll hit the magic breakout room with 3 options. Option 1 will be for people who want to learn more about remote tools, techniques, and practices. The second room would be people who are in a change initiative and it's stalling or slowing down or it's unfocused. And the third would just be an open Lean Coffee one, which I will open up the virtual Lean Coffee board. So I can hit that magic button. I can say distribute people into 3 rooms, and I will say room number 1, virtual tools tips. Room number 2, change initiatives that are stalled or stuck. Room number 3, open Lean Coffee. This will probably be quite chaotic because I have to go in one by one and set you all as hosts. You can jump into whatever room you want. I'll set a 15-minute time box. I'll close the room. Everybody comes back to this main window. And then 1 or 2 people from each group give the rest of the group a summary about what happened in the 3 rooms. Now, there's an interesting technique from Core Protocols called consent. So if you've ever seen this, who's seen the thumb voting? So instead of getting everyone to agree, we just make sure no one disagrees. So thumbs up if this sounds like a good plan. Thumb sideways, I'll just go with it. Thumbs down, I have an alternate suggestion. And I'm just going to eyeball the list and look for any thumbs down, and I don't see any so far. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to hit the magic breakout room. You're automatically going to be asked to go into a room, and then I will start setting people as hosts, and then you'll be free to move to whichever room you want. There we go. People are making their way back in. Awesome. All right, cool. Hopefully that wasn't too chaotic.
No, worked really well.
Cool.
It was good.
Cool. So with Zoom, there's a manual option. So for the people that were co-hosts, I guess you weren't able to move manually. So this, I guess, is a remote working tip for large online meetings. If you use the breakout feature, you can pick the number of rooms, and it basically just takes, you could say, I want 4 people in the rooms, and it will create the right number of rooms. So you could leave it as, you're going to get randomly dumped into a room. If you want to move, send me a note and I can move you. So some people stuck around in the main lobby, and then I moved them to the specific room that they wanted. So I think if you buy the Zoom Rooms add-on, you can actually do it like a virtual conference, but it does get kind of expensive. So this is the $14 a month Zoom option, which is pretty powerful. So let's start with breakout room 1. Can you give us a quick summary of your topic and what your outcome was or what your learning was?
That's a good question. How do you know which room number you were in?
So room 1 was around the virtual.
We were in 1.
So who was talking about the virtual remote tips and tricks for doing remote stuff? That was room 1. Room 2 was.
That was us.
Okay. So did you want to give the update on that, Patrick? Or?
Well, they democratically appointed me.
Oh, okay. Good.
So, there was no dot voting. A summary is I'm not sure if it's really simple. It's been more a short question and answer for some most pressing issues that the people have. Things about retrospectives. We shared a lot of information and links on tools, Miro, Mural, Retrium, which are all good applications for collaboration, for the remote retrospectives. I shared the whole list of tools that Lisette has put on her website. So anything there. One thing I added in there, which requires some technical adjustments, but which can work really well for the people that do facilitation and are looking for ways to do that better remotely. It's called Personify. Personify allows you to stand in front of your presentation. So it's like you're in a classroom with a huge screen behind you, and you can just turn around and point at the things that you're presenting. So it's a real simulation. It's 3D. It requires a 3D camera to work well. Right? You see, I changed my backgrounds regularly on Slack. Slack on Zoom, because it adds a bit of fun. I have some really cool ones as well, but I won't show them now.
Cool.
But it's a great option to sure. It's a pretty investment, because I think the cameras are quite expensive, but it's worth it if that's your main source of income. Right? Which other ones? I think that's a little bit what it is. One tip that we give to Leonard is, if you're an expressive person, put your PC further away, right? So that you get a bigger part of your body that you can use to point things out, like you standing in a physical classroom. I don't know if I missed any key points there. Danny, Jan, Carla, and whoever else was in my room.
Yeah, there was one that I find interesting, is that someone said that they do sometimes some small preparation meetings, so that people get used to the technical part of the meeting, and so that then the meeting is better, is more flow, something like that, right?
Absolutely true. Practice, practice, and practice.
Yeah.
The more you do it, the easier it becomes.
Yeah, I think that the meetings are getting better day to day. We have to try, and we have to practice more and get more effective day to day. It's your trying. This is all new for me. In the construction industry, the contact with the customer and the team is very important. And now I'm suffering, but I'm enjoying it.
Cool. So let's move on to breakout group 2. So this was you were in a change initiative. It's stalling. It's slowing down. Things are getting a little funky. What's your summary or lessons learned for the group?
So much like Patrick, I was voluntold. So what came out of ours was so we did a kind of quick review of where we were all at. Suffering kind of similar situations or from similar situations. And what we talked a lot about was, how do we find out what our teams are actually suffering from? Like, it might not be the initial change, but there's still something there that we can help with. So how might we go and discover what those things are? So an idea is a pulse check. So leveraging existing meetings, so not being overhead in this kind of time of crisis where, it's really quite human and normal to fall back on things that had worked prior. So instead of adding overhead or the perception of overhead, leveraging existing meetings, quick kind of hitting questions that are more kind of future facing of what can we do from here? How can we help?
Very cool. And the third group was Open Lean Coffee. So what happened in your group?
Anybody want to speak to that, or do you guys want me to?
Go for it, Glenn.
All right, I'll go for it. We didn't organize our time very well, so we ran out of time, but we did focus on connection, and we had a very interesting idea that Benita was trying, and that was on a regular basis, Benita was trying twice a week, have a remote coffee in the literal sense. People actually have a coffee mug, and they're actually having coffee on screen and showing them exactly. With some constraints around the things to discuss, nothing about work, nothing about the pandemic. So just having a real human connection, like a coffee, except remotely, which I thought was a very interesting idea.
I wish I could take credit for it. It's our change manager who did this. And now we're looking for different topics just to change up things, like bring your favorite pet. What's the silliest thing you've had to deal with this week? You know, pets optional or not, whatever, right? Just chat.
In
Can I
my
jump
group,
in there?
sorry.
No, sorry, we and I did it together. You can go first.
In my group of coach, remote coach, we have a room of Zoom open all the days, 24 hours of 24, and the name is Coffee Room. And when people want to take a coffee, they connect to this room. And if we are alone, sorry, if there are some people, but we can chat with a virtual coffee machine or tea machine or alcoholic machine and so on.
So today I also did something similar that you guys were talking about. We did a virtual lunch and learn essentially, but it started off with just a personal check-in, how we're doing, and everyone brought their snacks to the meeting, which was quite awesome to see. So everyone showed their snacks that they were eating, and then we got into your lunch and learn. Kind of, we were talking about topics of how do we collaborate better. So we used that platform, but I like the fact that you can make a virtual like coffee or water cooler chat where you don't actually have to talk about work. So that's helpful. Thank you.
Awesome, very cool. So we're hitting the 11 o'clock. So I hope this was a good experiment. And again, when it was born, it was let's just try this and see what happens. So if anything cool happened or any interesting comment from anyone, feel free to connect with them. I'll send the video as well with a bunch of links and things that are posted. And I got a couple of actions here, creating some short tutorials that I'll post up somewhere as well. And my plan is to just run these maybe twice a week and see what types of connections it creates and kind of what it evolves to. So hope it was a good experience, and thanks very much for spending an hour with us today.
Thank you. Thanks, Jason. Look forward to the next one.
Thanks.
Cool.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks all.
Stay healthy.
See you. Thank you for the invitation.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you, Jason. Bye.
You're welcome.
Special dédicace for your guitar.
No, I don't know how to get out of it.